Evening, folks. Welcome back to the channel. Just pardon any lag. I need to get the chat rooms plural pulled up. Welcome back to audio is fighting with me. I did a test stream and it was fine. And it go live, but it's a problem. So I will get the screen set up and then I'm gonna hop over and check the audio. In YouTube, and I have, well, everybody has a chat room on Twitch. Oh, good over there. Okay. This will be a rather clunky episode. What's the volume on? 66. I guess it doesn't go to 67. 67. Let's try it again. Oh wait, that better not be right. Hold on. Just have to make sure everything's set correctly over on YouTube Studio. Maybe it's called YT Studio. Oh no, it's not. Okay, I fixed this before I went live. I didn't remember my settings. Okay, maybe it will remember them now. Let me make sure everything is set right, just in case this episode stays up. I did not remember anything I set. Oh, it's just in there. Okay. I literally just did this like 4 minutes ago. It just turns off the AI and things like that. Save. Did it save it? It said it saved it. Alright, be right back over. It's actually better. There we go. I feel a little better now. Okay. When did this start? Now I've got to. Didn't exactly start. I started at 7 p.m., but that's not up, so I need to. Yeah, started streaming 4 minutes ago. 14. Okay. Oh yeah, and oh, I get to do this as well. I've got to post the posts that I already made. Collins Port! Exclamation point. Paste. Whenever you share a link always delete everything after the question mark, including the question mark. Because all of that other stuff, the question mark and after, is just to track you. So always delete that stuff. Get this posted on YouTube. And delete the old links. Don't want anybody going to a show that is no longer live and no longer public. Get this posted on Twitter. I am on Twitter. It's the same name that I use here. Where's my old links? Old link. Here it is. Get rid of these. I hate when I click on a post for a video and it's no longer up. I don't want to do that to other folks. There we go. Got that fixed. Well, possibly this could get screwed up at the end when I have to plug it into the charger, but that would only theoretically be me repeating a couple episodes at the end rather than having to redo a whole show. So that's why I had to restart this. And I do want to say, before I get started, that the last review I screwed up and I kept saying Dr. Garner. That's incorrect. It's Dr. Guthrie. I think I was just so concerned about the seance and what was going on that I just was not paying attention to the G name that I was saying, so that's why that came out like that. So my bad. Didn't mean it. I was just getting excited about what I was doing. So that's all that is. But let me get right into it. I'm gonna look up the recap that I typed earlier, but I don't remember. Please tell me it's not still. Yeah, it doesn't show me. Okay, yeah. I was worried it was gonna show reactions and stuff like that. It's showing me that on the phone, but it's not doing that here on the laptop. So that's correct. Why is this? Okay. So to recap the last review, Dr. Guthrie did hold a seance, well, two, and Josette came and she spoke through Victoria. She spoke in French, and Vicky does not speak French, so that established that Josette thinks in French. But we know she is French, but that just establishes that. And so, because of that seance, they know that there is an evil force at Collinwood, and Victoria was about to name it, and right before she did, she just collapsed, so we didn't get to hear the name. But the whole time she was speaking in French, Laura looked a little bit really concerned about what she was saying. And then we found out that Laura speaks French, so she understood what Victoria was saying. I don't speak French. I didn't look at the subtitles. So it was, it just sounded like she was talking about the devil, and she just kept repeating something at the end. But Guthrie mentioned that she spoke about somebody who like dreams without dreaming and sleeps without sleeping, and a boy was in danger, and something about fire throughout all of the years. And that's I suppose that's all she said. Maybe there's some French speakers or some Canadians that can catch what was said, but again, I don't speak French. I kind of like gleaned off of the subtitles that are on Tubi, but I just kind of wanted to guess my way through it the way maybe somebody like Carolyn would, because she does not speak French. Victoria doesn't speak French. And we do have 1,073 episodes to go. Link in the description for Tubi and for Internet Archive. You can watch Dark Shadows there for free right now. And, might get on to the next notebook, so I've got 2 of them here. Alright, we are on episode 173. This aired on February 22nd, 1967. It is still day 38. It's daytime. We're at the cottage. Something about the mantle above the fireplace there at the cottage. There's one light that's just stuck right up in the brick. And then there's another lamp that's just actually on the mantle. They're sort of evenly spaced out, but it's weird that they're not both like in the brick or just sitting up there. But I just noticed that in case you want to draw it or build it in Minecraft. Oh yeah, smash that like button right meow. You know you're going to have a good time. And in real life, this is going to be about 2 hours, so I do apologize if it runs over by about 14 minutes in real life. I need to see about getting that fixed. Oh, what's up, Brian? Glad you made it. Happy venereal disease. No, I said happy VD, Valentine's Day. Yeah, it's a Hallmark holiday today. Just don't do anything like cry about being single or get engaged or married today, and it's just another, day. One to go to, what's up? It says, have you found downloading the episodes captions useful? The episodes for Dark Shadows? I don't like to watch with subtitles on because that's just something else, popping up at the bottom of the screen that just makes my eyes tired. That's why those Kinescope episodes are rough, because I can't watch the DVD. So I've got the box set. That's what I'm usually watching these on. But for those, I had to go and watch them on Tubi because that's the only place that has subtitles. So I'm sort of like looking at what's going on, but I'm mostly just reading the bottom of the screen and taking my notes from that, but it does make my eyes rather tired. Brian, yeah, Hallmark Day, not the STD Day. Yeah, if you have some VD, please go to the clinic or the doctor and get that cleared up. That's who the hell have you been sleeping with to get itchy? That's not good. I haven't downloaded any episodes. I did want to just kind of take that seance as, like somebody who doesn't speak French, like Carolyn, what would they, glean off of it, rather than, because I don't speak French. I don't know if the subtitles are correct. So, like, what if what they're saying in the subtitles is not right? I don't want to present that to you guys as if it is correct when it could be wrong, because they honestly do. We'll get to the episode way later on, but there's a really important part, and you go to watch the subtitles, and they say basically nothing, and it's like, no, the actor is clearly saying something, he's just frustrated, why can't you hear this? So it's the subtitles are just not good the same way you can't trust the subtitles for Still Game on Netflix, because whoever made those subtitles does not speak Scottish. They get a lot wrong. One to go to, yes, you don't have to have captions on while watching, but you could refer to the captions afterwards. I really, I kind of should have done that for one word we're going to come up along, but then later on, from a completely other non-Dark Shadow source, I found what the hell this actor was saying. I'm like, that's, like, I'm trying to, like, Google, Google the verb. I'm trying to look up this word. I'm like, that's not even a word. Why did that actor say that? Did it used to be a thing and it's not now? But he just kind of mushed the word up a little bit. That's why it screwed me up, and then I heard it somewhere else, and I'm like, Oh, that's what he meant. I just we haven't gotten to that yet in the review. Otherwise, it would have been a little bit embarrassing. Lisa Gray, what's up? Glad you made it. Lurking for a bit, starting dinner prep for that guy I let live with me. Oh, nice. Dinner implies 2 prior meals in the same day. Wow. That's luxury. Very cool of you. But no, I kind of don't have time to watch do notes for the whole episode and then sit there and watch it with subtitles on because, again, that will just make my eyes tired and then I can't continue reviewing. I'll have to stop and rest my eyes, and I already feel like I'm so very far behind as it is. That would just give me anxiety. But that is a good idea. I just I don't have that kind of time. Especially since I'm going to have to be moving next month, so I really have to, even though I might have enough material to do, say, 2 reviews in a week, I want to have that little buffer there, so it's just one less thing I have to be stressed out about while I'm moving to a place I can't afford. But yeah, so again, it is day 38, it's daytime, we're at the cottage. And Burke is there with Laura. And Burke is saying that he will help Laura as soon as he finds out info that he asked about Dr. Guthrie when that comes back. Because he had his lawyer look into him. He's just waiting for that information to come back to him. But Laura doesn't like that. She can't wait that long. She's like, they're all against me. Just convince David to go away with me. Remember from before, Laura's getting very impatient. She's been super patient now, and she just hit her limit, and now she wants this stuff taken care of, like her time is running out. Now we're over in Collinwood. We're in the living room, and Victoria is arranging flowers, and she's telling David that Dr. Guthrie sent them over because she was feeling ill, because she fell out after the seance, and he was just being nice and sending some flowers over. Aw. I don't know what kind of flowers they are. I didn't even write it down. I don't know what kind of flowers things are. But they look nice, and she's just arranging them, and looks like she's feeling better. And there's David, like, I don't care. Victoria's just, oh, you don't care that I was ill, or you don't care that he sent me flowers? David said, both. You shouldn't have had a seance without me. I saw Josette first, so she's mine. Victoria tells him, you can't own her. Dude, she's a ghost, man. So David's just, mad at the whole world. He was left out of one thing, so he's just pissed off. But he wants to go play outside alone. Victoria offers to go with them. He's just, no, I want to be by myself. So, okay, dude, work it out. Go play outside. But now we're back over at the cottage, and Laura is saying that she must get David to leave with her while Liz is in the hospital. It's like, it was hard enough to arrange that. Burke says, what? Laura's just, oh, I just meant that I tried hard to get Liz to get sent to the hospital for proper treatment. That's all I meant. And look, will you please just talk to David today? He likes to play down at that old fishing shack. Burke just, he seems like he's going along with it, but he admits that a lot of these things don't add up. Laura just says that you've got to trust me. So now we are at a new location. This is the old fishing shack. It's a wooden building. Outside it's got like nets hanging, really thin nets. I don't know what the hell you're gonna catch with these, but some netting is hung up. It's So lobster traps that are, it's got a flat bottom and then like this curved top with these like slats all the way down. Just those are lobster traps, right? And then inside there's this old heater with the giant stovepipe going up, and like the pot belly stove with the flat top, and a huge water kettle sitting on there. It's like bigger than one that goes on a regular stove, but everything is really dusty. It doesn't look like this has been used in a long time. And then there's hanging on the walls, or there's ropes with pulleys, a little bit of cobwebs too. Not like the old house cobwebs, but a little bit of cobwebbage. But David's just sitting there. He's sitting on a barrel, and he's got another barrel in front of him, and he's just messing with some rope that's knotted up, huge length of rope. And Burke walks in, so David's happy to see him. And he asks for help untangling this rope, and I don't think he really needs help. I think he just wants to get people to go along with what he's doing, so that's why he asks for help. But Burke's like, yeah, sure, and hey, you know what? We should go out fishing sometime. Let's ask Miss Winters. And David just, she won't let me go. Burke's like, oh, sure she will. I'll even let you wear my old fishing jacket. It's going to be a little bit big on you, but that gets David all excited. Somebody wants to do something with him. Well, then he goes on to say that everyone's been acting weird, like his mom. He liked his mom a lot before she came, but now that she's here, she scares him. And he can't forget that when she first arrived, he was afraid of her. So Burke's like, you know how you can get over that? Just go on a trip with her. David's like, really? Like, well, he wouldn't mind that at all, but he doesn't want to leave Collinsport forever. So, a commercial break, come back. Victoria's, found them. She comes in, and she really does sound worried. Like, hey, David, I was sick looking for you. Or just worried sick looking for him. So David apologizes. He's sorry. Brian Wright, just like a woman to interrupt the fishing. Trying to talk about fish, woman. What are you doing in here? Nice. But she's just been worried about him. Finally found him, and David apologizes. But then he says to Burke, ask her about the trip. And first time she's hearing about this, so, has this kind of WTF look on her face. So Burke's like, yeah, me and David here were talking about going on a fishing trip sometime. And Victoria says, we'll talk about it in the spring. So right there, we know we haven't gotten a solid date yet, but we know it's not spring, so it could be fall, winter, summer. So that's it, sort of ballparking the time of year. Okay, that sort of gives us something to work with. But David is just wanting to go to the cottage to go see his mom, and nobody's going to stop him because his dad said that he could. So he's taking off right now. He's out the door. So David's gone, and Burke asks Victoria how she's doing. Victoria's like, well, news certainly travels fast. And she thinks it was strange that it was Josette that came around her again. And she tells him that it felt like she was burning before she fainted. So Burke asks, what's with this doctor? And why is he asking everybody questions? Victoria just, well, this case is unusual. So Burke asks her, what has everyone got against Laura? Liz didn't like her when they met 10 years ago. I was there. So Victoria tells him that lots of weird stuff happens around Laura. There's Sam's painting, and then burning his hands. Then the fire in Laura's apartment back in Phoenix, with her body inside. And Laura was the last person to see Liz before she fell out and never mentioned it. So now we're more into the afternoon. We're at the cottage. David just barges right in. He doesn't knock, he doesn't nothing. He just opens the door up like he lives there. And he lets Laura know that he's been at the fishing shack. And Burke wants to take him on a trip. And said that I should think about going away with you. So Laura says, well, if he said that, he meant it for your own good. So David asks, what's a seance like? Laura says, oh, you shouldn't have been told about that. Well, you know what? Victoria got upset. She's a nervous, high-strung person. And you mustn't believe anything bad she or Dr. Guthrie say about me. So just then Burke barges in. He doesn't knock on the door or nothing. He just opens it up like he lives there. Great. But Burke's first thing out of his mouth, he tells David, oh, it's going to be dark soon, so you better leave so you don't get in trouble to get him the hell out of there. So he does. So once David's gone, Laura says, like, you should stop coming here since David just barges in here now. Burke says, I'm not here to talk about David. I spoke with Victoria about you and all the weird stuff that's happened, or that just does happen around you. Laura's like, I know. That picture that Sam painted, and the fire at his house, and that body in Phoenix, and Liz's illness. It would take a superhuman to do all of that. I'm the same woman that you loved. Think of the future, you and me. And we see the fishing shack for the credits. It's actually a really good shot of it. And I am going to I'm going to pause and check the audio here. So just a second. Be back over. Son of a biscuit. Oh, this day. Stop trying to update when I'm live, you son of a bitch. Fuck your update. How about that? Update these nuts. Might be alright. Or it's like, I know. Picture the Sam painted. Yeah, that's pretty much how it all sounds. Okay, alright. Ugh. I got something on my glasses I gotta clean. I'm so pissed off about my bad audio, and considering the fact that the sun will be going into Pisces, which is one of my unlucky times of year. Nothing in astrology is going to tell you that something is unlucky. I had to figure it out for myself. What it is, whatever planet, or basically whatever element I don't know how to explain it. My Jupiter is in Scorpio. Jupiter is the lucky planet. So from that and just looking at my own life and things that have happened, I was able to figure out that bad stuff, the worst stuff happens for me when the sun is in a water sign. So that's how I figured out for myself that my unlucky time of year is when the sun is in a water sign. And since that's coming up, I really do want to make sure. I think I'm just going to bite the bullet and get a microphone and a stand for it. So I'll have that on the way, like, by, sometime this week coming up here, and get that set up, just so it's one less thing to have to worry about. Because if it's going to fuck up more, it's going to be in about a week or so. But, like, by the next time I do a show, the sun's going to be in Pisces anyway, and I just kind of want to get ahead of the trouble that I know that would be coming my way. It's going to be bad enough having to move when the sun's in Pisces. So, yeah, I'll be doing that. And hopefully that helps. Hopefully something helps. All right. So now we're on episode 174. This aired on February 23rd, 1967. It's day 39 now. We're in the afternoon. We're in the Collinwood foyer, and we see the clock. It's 12:32 p.m. And then we're in the living room, and Dr. Guthrie plays the tape for Frank Garner, and it's just all of the talking has been replaced with just this crackling fire sound. It sounds like somebody was holding the microphone next to the fireplace, and that's all it is. So Dr. Guthrie says, "Don't tell me I put the microphone too close to the fireplace." He had it on the table. It wasn't that close. And Frank's just bummed out. He's like, every last word lost. So Dr. Guthrie says, what does it all mean? There's fires in those pictures that Sam painted, and in David's dreams, and Laura's ancestors who died in fires, and then there's that dead lady in Phoenix who died in a fire. So Frank says that Lieutenant Riley is in Phoenix with proof that Laura is really herself, and he's going to be closing that case today so they can finally bury that body out there. And ever since they pulled that body out of the apartment, it's been in the morgue. He's like, how sure are you that Laura is responsible? Dr. Guthrie says, pretty sure. That maybe she's a power that, or she has a power that she doesn't know she has, or she's the Force herself. I really don't know. He's kind of sure, but he's not 100%. So then this, I didn't quite catch the name, but Frank says that he spoke with it. It's a Dr. Landis. I think that's what he said. Up in Boston, it's one of Liz's doctors. And they talked this morning. And right as he's saying this, Carolyn walks in, and she says, what about my mother? Frank says she's slightly improved. Her pulse and her temperature are close to normal, but she can't speak or move. So Carolyn says, let me see her. I'm her daughter. Dr. Guthrie says, Liz should improve now. So we don't know what's wrong with her, but we know the source. Carolyn says, we've known that. It's Laura. So Guthrie says, all we know is the source is here at Collinwood. So then we're at the front doors of Collinwood. Joe's shown up. He's got some papers that need to be signed ASAP. So Carolyn offers to let him wait inside. It's what happened is after the last scene, Guthrie and Frank go out for a walk to clear their head, and Joe has these papers for probably Frank to sign. But they're out. Carolyn's like, come in, just, chill out and wait. They'll be right back. So they get into the living room, and Joe asks her about Liz, and Carolyn says, well, she's slightly improved, but they won't let me see her. She said how she used to always turn to her mother when she had problems, and she says to Joe, I always turn to you when I need you. Joe says, well, if there's anything I can do for you. Carolyn says, I never thought I would need you when you wouldn't be around. Joe says, I can be around, but just as a friend. And then he gives her a hug, like, come here, this is what you need, bring it in. You just need to have a good cry, lady. Get the stress out. Aw. Like, he's really not trying to get back with her. He really is just trying to be friendly. He's not being a creep or anything like that, because she knows that he's got Maggie now, but he's not trying to be a dick to her. So he's being fair with her. Good for him. Okay, a new location. We are out of state. We're in Phoenix. They have this establishing shot. It's like any outside shots are just not going to be as clear as an inside shot. But it's daytime, and it's just, I really couldn't see any buildings. It looks like there's like cacti, like a single one, and like way off in the distance, way far, there's some little bit of mountains, and just everything else just looks like shrubs and whatever. It doesn't look like a town. It just looks like a shot of some desert somewhere. That's all they thought of Phoenix back then, I guess. But we get inside. We're in a police department. And it's a couple fellas, sitting at a desk. And one of them is Lieutenant Riley. He's just signing some paperwork to slide over to this other detective guy sitting there. He calls the other guy Lieutenant. But Riley's saying that, well, the case is closed now. Like I tell you, this case almost turned me into a drinker. And that lieutenant is saying that he thinks the body is Laura Collins, and he just can't let that thought go. But then he says to Riley, like, you are going to have to tell the morgue that that body they have is not Laura Collins, since you're the one that ID'd it originally. So Riley thought he was done when he signed that paperwork, so now he can't just fly home now. He's got to stay and do this. He just wants this to be done with, but like, oh, you got one more thing to do, so he's, okay, let's get it over with. But now we're back in Collinwood, and we're in the living room. Carolyn is sure that Laura is behind Liz's illness. So Joe says that people in town think Dr. Guthrie is a cop because of all the questions he's been asking. And Sam thinks he's a cop too. And he says that Maggie has had to drag Sam home from the Blue Whale a few times. Apparently, Sam is so worried about thinking Dr. Guthrie is a cop, he didn't want to go home and have a cop come to his house and ask questions, so he's been hiding out at the Blue Whale. Maggie's had to drag him home, and that's kind of sad. So Sam gets stressed out or scared, anything, he's at the Blue Whale. Carolyn tells him that Maggie's lucky to have you around. Like, I don't mind you mentioning her because we're friends. She was like, are we friends? That's up to you. So now we're back in Phoenix. We're in a new location. We're in a morgue. Just what you would expect. Just a big room. There's like this whole wall of the drawers that they keep the bodies in. Oh, this is when he calls him Lieutenant Coster. He only says it once. I don't think we're ever going to see this guy again, but he has a name. But they get down there and the phone is ringing, so he picks it up. And on the other end, it's Frank talking about, I just wanted to make sure the case is closed. And he hands the phone to Lieutenant Riley. Riley's like, yeah, it is. It's closed. We're doing it right now. So back over in the living room, Frank is telling Carolyn that, yep, that's that. Case is closed. But Carolyn is not relieved. Guthrie tells her that we're not trying to prove anything for or against Laura. So Carolyn says, when will we? So now we're back at the morgue, and that Lieutenant Coster goes to, you know how a morgue door is. It's got that little hatch. It doesn't have a knob or anything like that. It's not like opening a cupboard in your kitchen. He's opens it up, pulls the drawer out, the table. I'm clearly not a mortician. I don't know the terminology. The door's open in such a way that the camera is blocking what he's pulled out, what they're both looking at. So they're just like, huh, are you sure this is the right drawer? It's like, yeah, it's like, but put her in there. Why? Then the camera moves over to see what they're looking at. There's no body. Like no bag, no nothing. Just completely clean tray there. Like nothing was there in the first place. Didn't get up and walk away, man. That's creepy. And then we see the morgue for the credits. Just very sterile. There might just be a stool to sit on, one of those little metal medical stools. And then, like back where the phone is, there's a desk. So it's not a lot of furniture in there. I don't know what kind of jokes morticians play on each other. I don't think you're allowed to move the bodies around like that. I'm sure that's some kind of crime to be screwing around with the corpse like it's just a mannequin. You can't play musical chairs. And, oh, we told him the body was in a drawer 4, but it's in drawer 5. I don't think they're allowed to do that. They might not think that's funny. It might be illegal too. So that's not what happened. I don't know how they do things in Phoenix, but I don't think you're allowed to do that. So now we're on episode 175. It's still day 39. It's the afternoon. We're in the living room, and it's as if Victoria has just been told what we saw at the end of the last episode. Brian, yeah, somebody's in trouble for that one. Can't just, musical chairs with the bodies in there. I don't care how bored you get. But Victoria says, that's impossible. It has to be a mistake. Dr. Guthrie tells her, just, oh, Lieutenant Riley went to get the body in Phoenix, and it was gone. One to go to says I could ever sales on eBay. Yeah. Like, you would not believe what I found at the thrift shop. Like some taxidermist is breaking in there and stealing corpses. No, that's not. No. It, gotta start locking those drawers from the inside, man. I don't know, but no, she's just gone. But Guthrie's saying that there must be a connection. Victoria says there is. The fire. Guthrie says a fire would not explain her vanishing. And he wants to do another seance. Of course, Victoria does not want to do another seance, but Guthrie assures her he'll try everything else he can think of before they resort to that. And he wants to tell Laura about what's happened. So we're at the cottage now. Camera left, you can see that the wall, there's a really clear shot of it. Some really good footage of this place in black and white. But Burke is there saying that Dr. Guthrie deals with the occult, so why is he here? Or it's like, I don't know. I can't take him seriously, and neither can you. She says, I don't care about the people at Collinwood. You can't take your suspicions. I can't take your suspicions of me. I need you. It's like, you trust me, don't you? And just he doesn't answer, but the look on his face, he's really on the fence about her. Now, over in the living room, Victoria is saying, do you think Laura will explain? Guthrie says, I just want to see her reaction. And then there's a knock on the door. And Victoria just like, Mrs. Johnson probably forgot her keys. So Dr. Guthrie decides he's going to go for a walk. He just needs to clear his head. But they open up the door, and it's Burke there. And Victoria says, Burke, you can't be here. Burke says, I need to see you now. So Guthrie's going for his walk, so he's out of the way. But before he leaves, just like, hi, Burke, or hi, Mr. Devlin. I heard you thought I was a cop. It's Burke, my bad. So now Guthrie's away. He was just slipping out the door just when Burke showed up. Prine says, yeah, you never know what you're going to get nowadays. I don't know, man. The way they were just stealing bodies out of ancient Egypt in the 1800s. Not bodies, but like, mummified bodies. I don't know if that was like a thing in Phoenix back in the 60s. I don't know how they do things in Phoenix. But once Guthrie is out of earshot, Burke is saying, who is that guy? Because he's interested in Laura. So Victoria lets him... Victoria just kind of... She doesn't really invite him in. She just leaves the door open, and Burke follows her inside. But they go into the living room, and Burke says that Dr. Guthrie thinks Laura is suspicious. And you've got to tell me, because I have to know if I can trust her. Like, do you trust Laura? Well, why do you think she would hurt Liz? Victoria tells him that Josette led her to a cemetery twice that has Laura's ancestors in it who have died by fire. And that must mean something, otherwise Josette would not have pointed it out. And remember, Laura lied about being the last person to see Liz. She says, I don't trust Laura, and I'm afraid of her. And then Phoenix just called earlier to say that that body that they found in her apartment is gone. She's like, am I wrong to be afraid of her? Burke, no answer. So over at the cottage, we see, like from outside the door looking in, Dr. Guthrie's there, and he knocks. Laura does not want any company. So Guthrie's saying, I've got news from Phoenix. So she's, like just sort of, like when you're standing there if the door were open, but you want them to leave. So Laura says she's not interested. Guthrie tells her, well, when they went to bury the body, it was gone. Laura says they made a mistake, and it's not their first. So Guthrie says, what does it mean that that body is gone? Laura says, I'm done being polite. Go away. I'm warning you, don't say I didn't. And Guthrie, he won't leave her alone, and he's not leaving. So just then Burke shows up. So Laura says, tell him to stay away from me. Guthrie says, not happening, and he leaves. You ever see the Potter Puppet Pals? Let's go bother Snape. Oh, what's up, TL? NT, possibly? Yeah, smash that like button right meow if you haven't already. What's up, man? Just hanging out on the weekend like usual. So once Guthrie's gone, Laura's saying, just, when will people leave me alone? Burke says, when you start giving people answers. Why did you lie about being the last person to see Liz? Laura says, I haven't done anything to anyone, and I can't talk about it now. Just please leave now. So Burke finally just does leave. She just wants some damn privacy. Oh, it is. Yes, I'll figure that out eventually. I can sometimes I can remember two people, somebody if they have two different screen names. So it clicks in eventually. Is that the year you were born? Oh my God, you're so young. Well, so Laura finally gets rid of, gets everybody out of her house, and she goes and sits down by the fireplace. So now we're in the living room, and Dr. Guthrie has come back in, but he's really just unsteady on his feet. Like he's almost got to hold on to like the side of the door when he's walking through, and just all of this, and just kind of stumbling forward a little bit. We've never seen him like this before. It kind of makes you think of when Liz came back and she was just unsteady and kind of just looked like she was going to fall out. It looks like Guthrie's going through that too. But as he's walking into the room, he's a little bit more uneasy, walking past the sofa, and he hollers for Victoria. And as soon as he gets by the fireplace in the living room, he just collapses on the floor. And we see the cottage for the credits. Oh, damn. Oh, what's up, John Rogers? Glad you made it. Good to see everybody. All right, now we're on episode 176. This aired on February 27, 1967. It's still day 39. It's evening now around, sunset. ONT says, wow, you're the first person to ever refer to me as young, so thank you, Nikki. Oh, yeah, sure thing. Just, oh my god. I got the vaguest of memories from that year. Just, oh, that takes me back. Oh, you young folks got it all ahead of you. That's okay. I always feel rather old anyway, but just, like, no, that's the year I got divorced. Fuck that guy, but, yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. But it's evening now. We're at the cottage. This is a really good shot. We can finally see. They did this again where it's like the camera's there, and then you got like the fire from the fireplace, and the actress, and then we can see the wall that's directly on the other side of the room. Like usually there's a camera there. Sorry to break the fourth wall, but we can see it now. There's a window and with curtains, and I said 2 blocks wide, but I think if I was going to build it, I would just make it 1 block wide. There's a desk and a chair, and then there's a picture on the wall with the small 2 drawer table. So it's because I have to. That's one thing I haven't built in Minecraft, but now I got a good shot of it there. And he says I'm an old soul, and I love it still. Yeah, like I felt old as a kid. In some ways, I feel younger as an adult. But then you go to like lift your leg too high, and then the pain rolls in, and you remember your age. So you get a really good shot of the cottage if you want to draw it or build it in Minecraft. But we have this shot because Laura is just staring at the fire. Like the whole building could be burning down, but she's just staring at that fire in the fireplace. That's her thing. That seems to be how she works her magic. Now we're in the living room at Collinwood, and Dr. Guthrie, he's yelling for Victoria, and like he's taking his glasses off. He's down on the floor. He's all messed up. Victoria comes in and asks him what's wrong. Dr. Guthrie, he doesn't know, but he's sort of up again. Kind of opens up that window that you open. You're stressed out. Oh, and T says Happy Valentine's Day to all who are in the same boat of being alone. Yeah, it's just like any other day of the year if you're single. I mean, you can eat chocolate any day of the year. Just I guess don't. It's a Hallmark holiday. Don't worry about it. Like don't be upset on March 17th if you're not Irish. It's just a day. It's just some day in Aquarius. You'll be fine. Maybe it sucks to go out on Valentine's Day. I noticed that like if you drive past the Mexican restaurants on May 5th, suddenly like all the parking spaces are filled up. So like you can eat tacos any day of the year. It doesn't have to be that day. I mean, I guess you can make little heart-shaped cookies for the 4th of July if you want. It's just a day. But, Guthrie's all messed up in the living room. Now we're in the cottage. David just barges in, and that breaks Laura's concentration, just snaps her out of whatever she was focusing on. Then we see the living room again, and Dr. Guthrie's a little bit more like standing up straighter, a little bit less distressed, and he almost completely recovers. And David's like, I never saw that, at the cottage. Like, I never saw you look like that before. And Laura, oh, I was just daydreaming. You can see pictures when you look into the heart of the flames. Why are you here? Want to go to? May the 4th be with you, exactly. That's what it is. Cinco de Mayo. People who are Michael Palin fans go overboard and they eat tacos on his birthday in America for some reason. I like Michael Palin too, but okay, if that's what folks want to do. So this is the first time Laura's ever really been short with David, just asking him why he's there. David just said he was lonely. Laura says, "Don't you ever want to be alone?" David's like, fine. If you don't want me here, I won't come over again. Is how he gets. So he goes to leave. Laura's like, wait, don't be mad. She's like, there's just so many things I want to teach you. Like how you can dream with your eyes open by staring into the fire. And David wants to try it right now. So he sits down next to her and he looks at the fire for like 2 seconds. He's like, I can't see anything. So Laura's like, well, it's gonna be dark soon. Just I'll teach you another time. Just remember, you're always welcome to come over here. So David just, well, okay, and he leaves. And he says, I don't celebrate holidays my way. I just visit places to eat. Yeah, it's like I've got my own holidays. I don't need another day. I mean, I guess you can really like roll with it. And if you're single, just pretend you have a boyfriend or a husband or a wife or a girlfriend. Just, oh yeah, we went out and they got me flowers and chocolate. And then we went here and did this. And I didn't take any pictures. And then the next day you can be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Jen Rogers says, that's the 5th. I miss the mariachi bands at the Mexican restaurants, LOL. There's a Mexican restaurant that's up the road from my house I've told you about before. And they were, well, I got food poisoning there once, but then they changed ownership, so I assume the food's better now. But it was so good. I haven't been there since 2011. 2011, yeah. It was good, though. Like, the prices weren't too bad. Back then, I would go back, but who knows what the prices are up to now. Just tacos are good. Like, nah, man, I got my own holidays. I don't need a Hallmark to tell me when to buy chocolate. And I personally don't like flowers. You don't have to kill a plant to show how much you love me. I'd rather just have the chocolate. You don't have to murder anything. So now we're back in the living room, and Guthrie's a little bit more steady on his feet. He pours himself a drink, and he for a second there, he just did not know where he was. And Victoria's, been watching him real closely this whole time. Like, you see somebody unsteady expecting to fall out again, so she's been eyeing him real close. So she's like, you reminded me of when Liz fell out. Guthrie says, I don't know why I came in here. Something was just draining my strength and I couldn't fight it. And then I began to panic. And just then we hear the clock chime the half hour. And Guthrie's like, oh, I thought it was early afternoon, but it's only 6:30. Victoria says that's what happened to Liz. She lost track of time, too. So Guthrie's like, I was at the cottage, and Laura told me to stay away from her. And just then, David's, back from visiting his mom. He comes running in, and he said, oh, I was just, at my mom's. So Guthrie says, was there anything weird about her? David's like, well, she usually wants me around, but this time she didn't. So Victoria, wants some details. David said, well, she stared into the fire. It was like she was a part of it. Like in my picture. And she didn't hear me until I shook her. And then she told me that she sees things in the fire, and she'll teach me when we're together. And Victoria's like, well, it's getting late. Go into the kitchen and eat your dinner. So he takes off. So that's when Guthrie's like, David interrupted Laura when I came out of the daze. And then he thinks that Laura has something stronger than ESP. It's something that he's never seen before. So Victoria said, I don't care what Roger says. I'm keeping David away from her. And Guthrie says, you should stay away from her too. Whatever power Laura has, it must be destroyed. And just then, the front doors burst open, huge gust of wind, and Laura's standing right there. And she's like, oh, I just came here because David left his scarf. Hands it to Victoria. I didn't want you to scold him for losing it. So Victoria closes the doors and thanks her, and she's like, well, I need to go check on David. So she's out the door. And there's like little low hedges outside of the front door there. Oh, John Rogers is saying that Mexican restaurant by him was really good. NT says the very few best couples I know don't have days because it's every day for them. Right, yeah, you don't have to you have a wedding anniversary, what the hell? You can celebrate the day you met or got engaged. That's fine. Lisa Gray says I celebrate the 12th of never. Nice. Hey, it's always some kind of day around here. So in the living room, Laura is saying that I don't know what Victoria has against me. Maybe she's jealous because David likes me. Guthrie says, I don't think Victoria would be jealous of a child's fondness for his mother. Laura asks him, how does someone go into your line of work? Just meddling with things that should be left alone. Dr. Guthrie says, well, I'm sure you know a lot about those things. Aren't you surprised to see me up? I think you have some kind of power, like putting Liz in a trance and nearly doing it to me. And when I'm sure of what force you have, I'm going to put it on blast. He's going to tell everybody. Laura says, will you really? And she has a little laugh and leaves. And then for the credits, we can see that wall that's behind the fireplace again. Really good shot. Episode 176. Oh, where's my water? Yeah, but like any of these extra holidays, they just want to try to get you to spend a little bit of extra money in February. That's why they do that. These dumbass heart decorations, and everybody has red left over from Christmas, so that they need to use it up for uh, uh, February. That's it. Yeah. Oh, you've got red on you. All right, episode 177 aired on February 28, 1967. Now we're into day 40. It's daytime. We are in the living room. And Carolyn's in this dark, long sleeve dress. It's got these 2 rows of buttons down the front. It's 6 buttons. I don't think they're very fun. A lot of these dresses zip up the back, so it's just for show. It's not it's a feature. It's not a closure. But Guthrie is telling her that what happened to Liz almost happened to him. And he almost fell out. He doesn't know how he got into the living room. But he remembers that he was over talking to Laura before this happened. But it's all just speculation. It could just be, wild coincidence. Carolyn says, I know it's Laura. So Guthrie's saying that Laura Murdoch Stockbridge died in 1767, and then Laura Murdoch Radcliffe died in 1867, both by fire. And Carolyn says, yeah, Laura Murdoch died in Phoenix in 1967. So Dr. Guthrie explains to her how a phoenix is reborn. We all know what a phoenix is. Carolyn says, that's a medieval legend. That doesn't happen in the 20th century. So Dr. Guthrie says, haven't you ever considered reincarnation? Carolyn's like, yes, but the dead stay dead. So Dr. Guthrie thinks that he can get proof, but he needs somebody who knows the area. Carolyn thinks for a second. She's like, I know this boy named Joe Haskell. He'll help if I say it's for Liz. Guthrie's like, now what I'm thinking about doing, it's not exactly legal, but it has to be done. Hey boys, let's go commit some felonies. And T says, I'm all about support for those that we all show up for. All of you here are here to do, always support your favorite channels. Make sure you're subscribed, smash the like button, leave a comment. Comment at the show, share the shows if you're so inclined. I was just saying, I really do need to, since maybe I can stop worrying about this, I really am going to look into getting a microphone, a better one. So maybe I'll have it in time for my next show, but with the sun going into Pisces, I'm really sick of having to worry about every single last thing I do with no relief, so I need to get that fixed up because the show is the most important thing. So now it's afternoon. We're in the Collinsport Inn. We're in the coffee shop, restaurant, whatever you want to call it. And it's like we're walking in sort of mid conversation with Joe and Maggie, and Maggie's just saying, Joe, you're gonna have to be patient with me. It's not easy. Is this the scene? It's like they're very, like, we know they're dating, but nobody wants to walk into any job, and see somebody who clearly works there and somebody who clearly doesn't, like arms around each other, like kissing, all this kind of stuff. It's not a brothel, it's a restaurant. It's very unprofessional. Because if people are together, if they're married, we know you're getting private time together. If you're dating, we know you're getting private time together. So when you see two people in public getting handsy like that, it really does, like, we know better, but if you just see that happening randomly, it really does come across like, are you guys cheating on somebody? Like, why are you guys all handsy on each other in public? Like, you can't get any private time together. Is this something that's not a spectator sport? You know, put it away, clean it up. It's just very unprofessional. Like, I get that they're dating, but just that's you don't do that kind of stuff on the clock. Wait till you're out of uniform, and then you can be all on each other. But I think they're just doing that to convey that they're together and they love each other and all that kind of stuff. But in real life, don't do that. Like when you see a guy kissing a girl in public, like oh, I didn't realize you can't get to your hotel room fast enough. You got to start making out with this whore now. Like here's $5. When's my turn? Oh, Brian says the audio is fine, Nikki, and you know I already licked all the buttons. Ew, yeah, thank you. It was just like it was fine for the test, and then it was fucked up, so I had to start another stream. So this one is actually, I'm gonna again, if you watch this back, it's gonna be 2 hours, but in real life, I'm gonna be going until about 9:14 to get the full 2 hours in. So I understand if folks have to duck out in a half an hour, but these have to be 2 hours long. And this is why I sleep in on days that I work. But Maggie is saying to Joe that her dad needs her. If she were to leave Collinsport, then Sam will just stop working altogether and he'll drink more. And just, I mean, her dad's always been promising to get on the wagon, but every time it comes by, he just lets it go. So it sounds like Joe might have asked her to just like leave Collinsport. Like he doesn't want to be there anymore either. But again, she can't. She's got to take care of her dad. And Joe was saying that people think that fire started, you know, and the Sam burned his hands on, that started because of what's been happening up at Collinwood. Maggie says, all of my problems come from Collinwood. And she thinks that Sam drinks because of Roger. She just can't prove it. Oh, I did notice that the coffee's 15 cents. It started out at 10 cents, then it was 20 cents. Now it's back down to 15. So, okay, that's something. Oh, didn't drop it. Nice. Oh, good save. You couldn't see that, though. But now Carolyn comes in, and she's wearing a houndstooth pattern, like coat, white, light gray. And she's asking, you know, can I speak with Joe alone? I, you know, gotta ask him something. I need his help. And Maggie, you know, okay. So they head over to a table. But they're the only people there, so of course Maggie's right there at the counter, just noticing the whole conversation. But Joe's like, oh, will it help clear up some of the mystery at Collinwood? Like, if this can vaguely help out Maggie at all, he'll do it. He says, because that'll help me. Maggie thinks that Sam drinks because he's connected with things going on up at Collinwood. And she can't make any plans for her life until she knows Sam will be alright. Lisa Gray says, ew, Brian, that was you? I soaked my hand. Oh, that's why it was sticky. Yeah, you can tap the like button. You don't have to make love to it. Use protection. Brian says it's just a little saliva. You just wipe it on your shirt. Just, ew. Oh, what's up? Kelly, says, hey there, Nikki, I love your hat. Thank you. I love this hat. This is why I like winter more than summer. My electronics like it, and I can wear my long sleeve shirts and my hat and have my hair down. I feel more like myself when I get to dress this way. So, yeah, thank you. Okay. In between notebooks, you know how it is. So there you know, sitting at the table. I love the big yellow notepads. Yeah, I wish they don't make yellow notepads legal ruled. It's always the wider, but that's okay. It's easier to see with the light in front of me. And then I use like the Bic S Gel pen, so it's thicker than how one of these writes, so that I can see it better when I'm reading them back. Lisa, yeah, legal pads are necessary. Actually, back when I was in college, I read that like the memory retains information better if it's reading black ink on yellow paper. So back in college, when I took that year of college, that's what I was doing for my notes, and I remembered that for, this. Kelly says, I love winter too. It's my favorite season. I prefer fall, but my electronics like it cold, so I turn the heat off as soon as I wake up in the morning to make sure it's cool for this. See, the electronics come first. So there's Maggie, not Maggie, but Carolyn and Joe are sitting there. Maggie's watching at the counter, but Carolyn's saying, now, don't tell anyone this. But Dr. Guthrie is a parapsychologist. And Liz is in a psychic trance. Joe just, he cannot wrap his head around. And he, like, that's the last words you expect to come out of her mouth. And he's just, what? It's like, I thought you were, like, level-headed. What the hell are you talking about? But Carolyn just asked him, like, can you just please stop by tonight? It'll help. So, Joe agrees, and Carolyn takes off. She's got stuff to do. That whole time, Maggie was watching this, and she thinks that Joe is trying to get back with Carolyn. Joe's like, Maggie mentions going to the movies, and Joe, we can't tonight. I can't take you to the movies. I promised Carolyn I'd be going over there tonight, and Maggie's not. She's less upset about losing out on going to the movies than she is about thinking that Joe's trying to get back with Carolyn, and Maggie says that she is not going to give him up without a fight. And there they go. No kissing on the clock. Come on now. You know better than that. Maybe they don't, but don't do that. It's like, I don't see that on the menu. Films it with my modern camera back in the 60s. John Rogers says, I remember the big cheap tablets from school. Lisa Gray was voted secretary for a nonprofit last week. Oh, minutes. My desk is covered with notes. Oh, no. Yeah, it's a... Oh, wait. That's important, too. Okay, hold it. That's what's a little bit tough about this. What do I write down? What do I leave out? What do I... Some stuff I kind of leave out on purpose, thinking, you're going to watch this for yourself. You're going to see some things I don't mention. I'll word it differently so I'm not just straight up writing down the dialogue that they're using. Oh, battery's sticking with me so far. I just have to take notes because I have a bad memory. It's not necessarily that I have to write it down or I'll forget. Like right now I'm about 20 or so episodes ahead of what I'm reviewing, so there's no way I would remember what I watched whenever I watch this stuff. So just like people come over, they do stuff, they're wearing clothes, they leave, it's day, it's night, it's day, it's night, it rains, more stuff happens. Close up, shots of fire, more shots of fire, shots of the cottage, credits, commercial breaks. Brian says, y'all can have all the winters you want. Yeah. I don't have to drive anywhere, so I don't care if it snows. Oh, I messed myself up. Sorry. What? So now it's evening, it's nighttime, whatever you want to call it. We're in the living room. Carolyn brings in some coffee. There's some pastries. It's like a regular size plate, and it almost looks like um, cinnamon rolls with icing on it, but it's been cut into quarters. Okay, that's all for me. I don't know what you guys are having, but it looks good. But Carolyn is saying that Joe said that he would help, and he's going to come over this evening. And Carolyn trusts him with anything, but she doesn't want to get him in trouble. Saying this to Dr. Guthrie. And just then Joe shows up. And Dr. Guthrie asks, has Carolyn told you about what I do? Joe's like, yeah, but I really don't fully agree with it. Dr. Guthrie says that's okay. You don't have to. Then he asks him, do you believe in reincarnation? Now, ever since Carolyn started at the diner, everything he asked Joe, this stuff, you can tell this is just completely beyond him. He just wants to fish and hook up with Maggie and be a solid citizen. And you're asking him about metaphysical stuff, and he just thinks all this stuff is weird as hell. So that's what the hell are these people asking me about today? But he asked him if he believes in reincarnation. Joe's just, I haven't really thought about it, but no. So Guthrie lets him know, I want you to help me open a grave. And we see the foyer for the credits. Hell of a way to end an episode. Let's go dig up a body. Just drops that bomb on him. And he says, I'm gonna write it down or I forget it my way. Maybe I'm just getting old, but that's how I learned. Yeah, that's too. If I maybe from school we had to do a lot of writing stuff down, so that helps me remember it as well. But I mean, yeah, you can type out a note, but there's something about physically writing it down that helps it stick in the memory. Brian's asking what Lisa cooks for the man that she lets live with her. Oh, Lisa's saying, have snow on top of ice here at the old homestead. Yep, it's slick there. Ooh, says I need skates. Yeah. Do you have your team of dogs for the Iditarod? Do they still do that? That's Alaska, right? No, I can't have dogs because that motherfucker Earl keeps backing into my driveway and it pissed him off. So I. Oh, Lisa has. I have king salmon fillet with dill, lemon, pepper, cream sauce crust in the oven. Basmati rice. Green salad, green peas, homemade classic cheesecake for dessert. Ah, oh, damn! We were just talking about cheesecake in the chat room the other day. Oh, Okay, so episode 178 aired on March 1st, 1967. This is again when you see the chalkboard, they're just sort of, they've got it set on the floor so you can see the little bit of tape where they have to hit their mark on the floor. That's on the DVD only, that's not going to be on Tubi or on Internet Archive. But it is still day 40, it is nighttime, and we are in the living room. And Joe is saying, see why you had Carolyn swear me to secrecy. It's like, look, I'm not a body snatcher. Dr. Guthrie says, I don't want to take anything, I just want to see what's inside. Carolyn says, do you have to? Guthrie says, yes, we must open the vault at the old crypt of Laura Murdoch's Stockbridge. All the Laura Murdochs died the same way. So this is all kind of falling into place for Joe. He says, well, I see why you asked if I believe in reincarnation. It's like, on top of everything else, this is illegal. Guthrie's like, I already asked Frank to draw up the paperwork, but it's going to take time, and we don't have time. And he thinks that everything going on is leading up to some greater disaster. So Joe's like, hey, look, I'm not the most religious guy in the world, but a grave is hallowed ground. Carolyn says, I know I'm asking a lot, but this might be the only way to help Liz. So Joe, like, yeah, I'll do it, but I don't like it. And T says, yeah, I agree. If we all would write things down, then we would all learn better. Yeah. Lisa Gray says, Iron Dog started today. Nephew long standing champ. Oh, nice. Snow machine race from Matanuska Valley to Kotzebu and back. Sure, I've been to both those places. World's longest snow machine race. It's not for wimps. Holy shit. When you say snow machine, I'm just thinking about somebody like riding a snowblower. Or is that the one where it's got skis on the bottom? Oh yeah, Lisa Gray says, Iditarod starts next month with real doggies. Yeah. Kel says, I agree, writing down things makes me remember it. I always make flashcards to remember all of my tests. Yeah, that's what you gotta, just little, whatever's gonna make your memory click, just write that down, even if it might not make sense to somebody else, but it's not their notes. Like this, I'm not writing out full words. Sometimes I use Scottish if it just happens to be a shorter word than the English word, just to use up less ink. Small is SMOL, like internet speak. Little things like that. But now we're in the cottage where we're looking through the window that they, the windows on the door that they never clean. There are these small trees and it looks like vines in between the window and the door, like growing up the side, which is cool. I like vines in Minecraft. One more reason to use those. But Roger shows up and he knocks. Everybody has been barging into this woman's house. It's been pissing me off so bad. Roger knocks. That's very polite of him. Thank you. Thank you. But Laura, opens the door, lets him in, and offers him some tea. Roger wants a drink, but Laura's like, well, I can make you tea. Roger says, tea isn't a drink, it's a liquid. Laura's off the wagon, so she's not going to have alcohol around, but Laura says she feels like time is running out. And she's almost won over David. Roger says, well, I mean, you can take him and leave right now. Liz isn't here. Laura's like, no, David must come to me of his own free will. Why do you think Dr. Guthrie's here? He's a parapsychologist. Roger says, a ghost chaser? Who else knows about this? Why am I the last person to hear about it? Laura says, I'd ask Carolyn. Roger says that everything that's happened since you returned is confusing. Why'd that body in Phoenix disappear? Laura says, clearly I'm here and not there, so how would I know? Roger says, you were the last person to see Liz. Laura says, well, I didn't hit her over the head. I may have wanted to often enough, but I never did. Roger says, if you're hiding anything, you better tell me or I'll find out. Laura says, nothing. She's not hiding anything. Yet writing things down, taking pen to paper, I like how handwriting looks. It's very telling. It says a lot about people when you can see their handwriting. Now we're over in the living room, and Dr. Guthrie is saying that there's a road that goes to the crypt, but it's almost never used, and he wants to go tonight. So Carolyn asks, well, what about that old watchman? Guthrie says, well, he lives in a small house on another part of the property, and he seldom makes rounds, and he also doesn't think the crypt is going to be locked. So Carolyn's like, well, if you need tools, there's some in the shed that's behind the cottage. Remember the shed that Matthew Morgan went to get that axe? I guess that's where it is, behind the cottage. So unless there's two sheds on the property, that's at least where one of them is. So Joe's like, no, that's fine. I'm just going to go to my house and I'll pick up the tools that I have there so we don't have to, sneak around and risk Laura hearing them getting that close to the cottage. And Guthrie's saying, well, it's best if we just take one car, so I'll pick you up. Joe's like, all right, he's saying that he lives on North Main Street. It's a white clapboard house at the end of the street. That's the word he kind of mushed together, and I didn't know. That's just like when you got that siding that's slats all the way down. So it's had fun trying to look that word up. But Carolyn walks Joe out, and in the foyer, she's telling him that she's never going to stop being grateful to him for helping her out. Just then, Roger shows up. Where's Dr. Guthrie? I want to speak to him. You two, get in here. So they'll all back in the living room. Roger pours himself a drink. There's Roger. He calls Carolyn Lucretia Borgia. That's his go-to insult. Then he says to Dr. Guthrie, like, you've been digging around here long enough. This is going to stop unless you tell me what's going on. Dr. Guthrie says it all relates to Laura. Roger says, I thought you'd say that. Get out. I'm ordering you to this minute. So Guthrie takes off out the door. Roger says, I don't want him in Collinwood again. Why didn't you explain this to me instead of going behind my back? Why didn't you give Liz's doctors a chance? Carolyn said they had a chance. I'll explain. I'll try everything to help Liz. Do you think my mother is faking her illness and Victoria faked what happened at the seance? Roger says they're both highly overwrought women. So Carolyn says, would you admit you're wrong if Dr. Guthrie proves it? Roger, sure. Carolyn says, I'm sorry it had to be a secret. So Roger admits there's a small possibility Dr. Guthrie knows what he's doing. Very small. Brian says, I made notes mostly in my head and forgot half of them. Like when I'm live, I'll think of what I want to say all day before, and then I show up and forget half of them, so I've got to make notes in my phone. And then even at the last show, I forgot to say some stuff, so it's I guess I'll save it for next time. Just it came to me after the fact, like one of the most important things, damn it. So now we're at that old cemetery. We're at the caretaker's house. Outside of it, Dr. Guthrie's there with Joe. He's knocking on the door. It's locked. Then he tries to break it down, like throwing himself into it. So Joe, tries it too. Then nothing happens. The door is locked. But then they look at the doorknob. It just slowly starts turning, and it opens up inward. And that's what we see for the credits, just the exterior of the caretaker's house. And I know it's 5 till, but I've got to do another episode to make this 2 hours long. We'll have to plug in the laptop. Hopefully that doesn't screw up the audio. So I won't have to repeat this episode a week from today. All right. Oh, is it Kelly? But Kelly is saying that to Brian, you probably remembered more than what you would have if you hadn't written the notes. Writing and remembering goes together. It goes into the memory bank. Yeah, actions help us remember more, though. Yeah, that's true. Like one trick they say is like, say when you're reading or studying, you chew, let's say cinnamon gum, and then when you go to take your test, chew that cinnamon gum, not the same stick, but like a fresh stick of cinnamon gum, and it will like the flavor will help jog your memory, stuff like that. I know me personally, scent is very much connected with memories too. I'm sure it is for everybody, but. So, episode 179 aired on March 2nd, 1967. We are on disc 21. It is still day 40. It's nighttime. We are in the outside of the caretaker's house. They reshot it with them like showing up, trying the door, throwing their bodies into it. The door like slowly. Okay, yeah, Kelly, yeah. Well, I'm like, maybe I know who that is, but yeah, awesome, cool. All right, good to see you. You don't just show up to somebody's house and try the handle and throw yourself into the door. I don't care what you need, but that's what they're doing. They reshot that. But Joe doesn't want to go in. He's like, there's someone in there. He's like, I didn't touch that door and it just opened on its own. So he's kind of creeped out already. They just showed up and he's spooked out. But they go inside, and Dr. Guthrie is saying that Victoria said that the family who have died by violence is buried down in that crypt. And Joe's just looking around. He's like, gotta hate to admit it, but I'm scared. But but we're grown men. Guthrie says, stop being a little bitch. So he's looking around. And he's like, oh, I found it here. Here's Laura Murdoch Stockbridge's, headstone. And Joe's like, wait, I didn't realize how this was going to feel. And it's not fear, it's respect for the dead. How will this help? Guthrie says that Liz's life may depend on it. And remember, the dead may be willing to help the living. And I'm doing this with or without you. Kelly, yes, smelling help us remember. All of the senses are part of memory. I think touch is writing, yeah, something about holding like certain pens and just seeing your own handwriting. Oh, John Rogers remembers who, yeah, Kelly is now. Yeah. Yeah, post-it notes too, not sponsored. I've got little black post-it notes help out to like cover a lot of little lights and indicator lights on things that you just don't need. A little bit pricey, but they're worth it. So now we're over in the living room, and Frank is there asking where Dr. Guthrie is. And Carolyn's trying to play dumb. She says, I don't know. So Frank says Dr. Guthrie is working hard to help Liz, but he could go too far. And if he does something and goes to jail, then he can't help Liz. Like that, he phoned and mentioned he's going to do something that could get him in trouble. Carolyn finally admits like he's at the crypt with Joe to open a grave. So Frank runs out the door. Okay, we are back at the caretaker's house in that crypt, and they're pulling the coffin. There's a difference between a coffin and a casket. They're pulling the coffin out of the wall. So, grave robbing, drink. This will happen more than once. And they pry that stone off of the wall, and they've got it's a wooden coffin, nothing fancy about it. They both lift it up, they set it down on this little table, and then they start to pry the lid off. It looks like it's just nailed down, but as soon as they start to do that, there's a caretaker like, no! It's like, don't you know who they are and how they died? The violence may still be alive, and once your battery runs low. Dude, I was talking. Hang on. Ugh. How can I play Minecraft for 4 hours, but only go live for 2 hours, and it uses up roughly the same amount of battery? Let's see, you go in there. And over here. Okay. It's gonna get hot. I just want to check something with my audio. I don't know if it's gonna tell me, but okay, well, according to this, the gain is not messed up. I just don't want it to sound really tinny, but if it is messed up, I can redo this in a week. Yeah, Kelly's been frankly, for a hot minute. I think most of us have in mind right now. Yeah, so the caretaker catches them. He's like, you don't know who they are, or like, don't you know who they are and how they died? Like, the violence may still be alive, and once you let it loose, what terrible revenge it might take. Dr. Guthrie says, I'm willing to take that chance. Caretaker says, you have no right. Dr. Guthrie says, we're willing to take the consequences. Caretaker says, that's only because you don't know what they might be. Just leave her in peace. Like, you may unleash a greater danger against us all. So I'm here to guard them against everything, and they're very grateful. Guthrie says, I'm sorry, I have to. Caretaker says, over my dead body. And just then Frank shows up, and he's like, apologizes to the caretaker for them. I'm sorry they're here. I'm sorry they're doing this. He says to Dr. Guthrie, he's like, if you explain to a court why you opened this coffin, they'll put you in the nut house. And just then Joe's lost his nerve. He doesn't want to do this anymore. He just wants to go. But before he can go, he's like, wait, I smell perfume. And like, he's like, well, I don't know what jasmine smells like, but it smells like flowers on a warm night. And as he's saying this, behind them, the coffin lid just slowly starts opening up on its own. There's nobody near it. Creepy as hell. But then the camera gets closer so we can see inside. Totally empty. Like nothing was in there. Not a scrap of fabric, not a stain, not a piece of jewelry, nothing. And we see the caretaker's house there for the credits. Creepy episode. As far as smell memory goes, back 11 years ago when my friend died, I knew that I was purposefully not trying to, I was trying to do things that would not create a memory of that time because it was the worst time in my life. And one thing I had was a lot of little different, like little bottles of just body washes and like shampoos and conditioners. So like stuff I would never buy, but it smelled nice enough for me to use. So what I was doing is just using up all these little bottles of shampoo, conditioner, body wash, so that one, to use them up, but two, it's stuff I would never buy again, so I'm not going to smell it again, so it's not going to trigger a memory from that time. I remember it well enough. Actually, I don't remember a lot from that time other than just crying, but that helped out. So it's nothing I would buy. Maybe I was buying Pantene shampoo and conditioner. So like I wasn't using that. I might have still had it, but I was not using it until I used up all the little bottles. So nothing would trigger a memory, and it's been 11 years, and that's worked. Oh, I hope this stuck with me as far as the audio goes. So that will be, what is it? We'll pick up with 180 next time if I don't have to repeat anything. That sounds good. So yeah, we've got our first instance of grave robbing. We're really getting into it. We've had seances. There will be, spoilers, more opening of graves as the show goes on. Yeah, we're really getting some information about Laura, and Burke is suspicious of her, and Roger is completely done with Dr. Guthrie, and I don't think I screwed up saying his name in this one as much as I did the last time. And yeah, I don't get hung up about Valentine's Day. Like I was saying, I think in that test stream that I did, there's just somebody that I follow on Tumblr was just complaining about being single maybe about a week ago, and I didn't know why because it's just February. And then I realized, Valentine's Day. So you're a grown ass man crying online about being single on one day of the year when you're also single 364 other days of the year. Like, yeah, so that's really gonna bring the chicks to you there. Oh my god, he's so mopey and sad. He's so hung up about Hallmark holidays. What's his phone number? So, dude, come on. You're a grown ass man. Cut it out. So yeah, it's just another day, man. Unless if your significant other died on a Valentine's Day, I guess you can be upset about it, but it's just a day. Just go ahead and see. That's the thing. If you are single, then you can buy all those chocolates and order your heart-shaped pizzas, and you can just have all that for yourself, and you don't have to share with anybody. You can be selfish. But I don't know, maybe don't be a dick and break up with your significant other on Valentine's Day either. Just maybe wait a couple days. Don't be breaking up with folks on holidays. That's just, even if they don't celebrate those holidays, that's kind of a dick move. Just don't do that. Don't be that guy. And don't get married or engaged on Valentine's Day or Christmas or Halloween. Um, it's, like, tell me you don't care about your significant other without saying you don't care about your significant other. Like, to me anyway, the day you get married should just be its own separate thing. Like, you don't want to get married on your birthday, do you? That would be weird. I always said if I got married, I'd want to do it in April just because I don't have any holidays in April. So there's nothing else to get in the way of it. I can just focus on that one day and just do my holidays when they happen naturally. So I wouldn't want it cluttered up with other stuff. But neither of my parents have birthdays in April. So yeah, it's not even about a time of year thing. If I was going to get married, it would just be something like, let's just sign the paper, get the last name, and just keep it going. I'm not trying to invite all these. If I did invite a lot of people, nobody would show up. So I'd be better off having my wedding reception on do it like that. So I wouldn't film it though. That's kind of weird too. I mean, it's one thing to have a camera off somewhere and film the wedding. That's fine, but you don't want to have to be in the shot like this when you're like with the priest in the room. How would you? No, that's or however they do it. I don't know, that would be weird. Don't be that guy. It's just another day, but it's a Saturday, so I'm glad you guys had a TL. Who wants to get married these days? If it's the right person, to just give me like it's supposed to be till death do us part, not until 5 years from now, and we just change it. Too many people get divorced. It's like they don't take marriage seriously in the first place, and next thing you know, it's there. Oh, you got your old last name back? I didn't see that coming. Well, I wouldn't get married now. It's February. I've got you got Pisces coming up. I would not want to get married when the sun's in a water sign either. It's just my unlucky time of year, like I said. But yeah, I'm glad you guys had a couple of extra hours to stick with me. I hope the audio stuck with me. I really am going to see about getting this week, get a microphone and something to clamp it onto the desk ordered, and then I'll have to turn off the microphone on that and connect it through a that's another thing. If it clears up the audio and I don't have to worry about it anymore, it's nice to see. It's nice to have one less thing to be stressed out about. That would be nice. NT says, I take a look at the stats over the last 50 years at least. Yeah, just it seems like like half of marriages end in divorce, 52% of them end in divorce, so they obviously didn't love each other in the first place. Or I mean, like, I understand stuff falls apart, but they're not taking it seriously. Folks are just kind of blasé about it. I don't like that. Um, But yeah, thank you guys for showing up. I know this ran a little bit over in real life, but this should be right about 2 hours when it uploads. Hopefully I don't have to repeat anything next week. Just a regular week next week on Saturday, no Friday show. So I will see you guys here. Smash the like button on the way out. That helps out the channel. Make sure you are subscribed. I do have super chats. It's Venmo and Buy Me a Coffee. That goes directly to myself so I can eat. You're not spending the money on AI. I don't spend it on hookers and blow. The money stays in the United States, and your comment gets read at my next live show, so you get to be part of the show that way, as well as being part of the show in the chat room, because I like to keep up with the chat room. So you guys are the best. Don't forget your pants. You're going to need those for the show all next week. So get some good sleep, get something to eat, smoke out on the balcony, stay based and sexy, keep that thing on you, 2A, hashtag fuck Discord for that age verification nonsense. But you guys are the best. You guys let me do something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be in front of a camera for whatever reason, and now I am here, and it feels like the right thing. It feels like the best thing I can do, and you guys let me do that. Otherwise, I would just be talking to myself, which is very odd. That's just like recording a video and uploading it, which I don't really like to do. I like to see you guys live, and I'm glad you guys like to see me live. So, yeah, you guys make all the bullshit worth it. Thank you for being here and for being Franklies and all that stuff I just said that I've just forgotten. But thanks again, and is that everything? Yeah, I think so. I'll see you guys in the chat room all next week. It's all good. John Rogers says good night. Have a great night to everybody. NT says good night. Yeah, good night to you guys too. Take it easy. But get your discounted Valentine's Day candy tomorrow. And yeah, we'll just take it easy till then. Until next time.